beautiful people, what is good? It has been a minute, but listen, we are back at it again, and this time we going non-stop. Had to take a little hiatus, got a little busy, life stuff, work stuff. I was traveling, I was just doing too much. I had a lot going on, but it was a good productive couple weeks. But I was like, all right, man, when I come back to the pod, I got to be back and commit to it. So, beautiful people, we are back at it again. Another episode of Cell Speaks. Listen, we continuing to improve the content. We got some dope guests lined up on the way coming for you guys. And we're going to be on it weekly. I'm not skipping no more weeks. We're going to ride it to the end of the year. Shoot, if anything crazy happens, I'll let you guys know first beforehand. But it's good to be back on the pod. Good to be talking to you guys again. I missed y'all, man. I missed y'all. This was fun. You know, the conversations was dope. But, you know, sometimes life gets in the way. But, you know, we going to tighten up. We doing better. And so, man, just a lot of, you know, interesting things in life. Just came back from a conference. I just finished a dope album. I was the executive producer. So if you guys get a chance, check out Kimbilio by Reprise Worship. That is Kimbilio by Reprise Worship. I had the honor of producing that whole record, and that was just a fun experience in itself, just learning and growing as a producer. And then right after we finished the album, I had to go out to Virginia to do the album launch and the conference, and it's really just been a lot of things going on. But you know, we back at it, and not to ramble on and on, but these past couple weeks, man, have really homed in the point of something very important for me, and that is that if you really want to change your life, if you really want to turn things around, if you really want to do dope things, discipline is definitely one of the ingredients. But like, there has to be a commitment to hard stuff. And what do I mean by hard stuff? Like, you have to make a commitment to do hard things that are currently difficult for you. Like, you know, if you are in a relationship, if you want that relationship to work, you have to make the commitment to do hard things. And sometimes those hard things is sucking up your pride. Sometimes it's learning to speak instead of shutting down. Sometimes it's doing things that your entire life you did the opposite. You know, you're so quick to respond and say a quick remark, but because you want this relationship to work, you're learning not to be so quick-tongued and say something slick all the time. And that's hard. It's like for a business, you know what I mean? Maybe you're very uncomfortable posting and marketing yourself on social media, but you really want that business to grow. And so to find success in things, to turn your life around, you have to kind of make that commitment to do hard things. It's like, it's essential for growth, because if you only stay in a place where you do what's easy and what doesn't even challenge you, then you're not gonna grow, right? Like, if you always, what do they say? Growth is on the other side of comfort. And ain't nothing more uncomfortable than operating in a space where you're constantly doing hard things. And so, like, you know, let's say, for example, you're a writer, you know, maybe writing a 60-page book was your first hard thing. But after you do that a couple times, it's no longer hard. And so now what's your next hard thing? It's like, okay, I did 60. Let me challenge myself to do a 300-page book, and then a 1,000-page book. And then maybe let me do a novel series, you know, a trilogy or 6 books. And that's how you become like a J.K. Rowling, who has all of these Harry Potter series, the whole universe with the movies, et cetera, because you go from hard thing to hard thing. You know, you even look at artists, okay, they write a song. Writing a song was their first hard thing, and then they mastered writing a song, and then it turns into writing an album. Then it's going on doing a show, then doing multiple shows, doing multiple local shows, then a tour. And it's like you keep progressing from hard thing to hard thing. And as you do that, that's how you continue to get better. It's the same thing in sports, right? You have to do hard things. And hard things are things that often require discipline and sacrifice and a commitment to frustration. because a lot of the times the hard things that you're going to do will frustrate you. I recently watched Steph Curry's new documentary, Unrated, and um it was dope. It was dope. And one of the parts I enjoyed was when his dad was telling him, like, if you want to get to the league, we're gonna have to refine your shot. We're gonna have to modify you. Instead of shooting from your waist, you have to shoot higher. And he talks about how that entire summer he's doing it and he's getting frustrated and he's working on making the adjustments and he's working on being better, he's working on being different, and he was just struggling and he hated it to the point where, you know his mom kind of intervened and was like, well, look, if you're gonna quit, just quit, keep doing the way you've been doing it and figure it out. Or, if you really trust the advice that your father's giving you, make the commitment and just be committed to the hard thing, because the hard thing will pay off. And obviously, we know who Steph Curry is now. We know all the things he's accomplished. So it obviously paid off. And why did that happen? Because he did the hard things. Constantly playing it safe, constantly staying in your comfort zone, constantly living in a world where you're not challenging yourself will keep you stagnant. You're going to just stay at the level that you're at. And eventually, over time, you'll start to descend, because you're not stimulating yourself. You're not pushing yourself. You're not innovating, you're not creating, you're not building upon what you already had. So it's like you always have to keep pushing yourself from hard thing to hard thing. And I think, like, that's the thing where the society that we live in, everybody's kind of shying away from that. We all want to be wealthy. We all want to, have the best body. We all want to have a great relationship, but not realizing, like, to achieve these things, they require you to do hard things. To become wealthy means that you have to learn how to build a profitable business, which is a hard thing. You're going to have to learn how to market, which can be a very hard thing. To lose weight, you're going to have to give up and sacrifice some of your favorite foods, which can be a hard thing. You're going to have to learn to do hard exercises. If every single time you work out, you're comfortable, you're never going to achieve the body that you want. You have to do hard workouts, hard sacrifices. Like, if we fell in love with the hard thing, we would have so much better results in our lives, and the fruit of our lives would have so much to show, because we're not afraid of it. We're not afraid of, okay, for 30 days, I'm going to make this commitment to work out every day and eat healthy and read a book. And then you'd see after 30 days what it would do for you. Like I shared with you guys my experience doing 75 hard. That was working out every day, a gallon of water every day, reading 10 pages of a book every day. I stuck to my intermittent fasting for 90 days, 75 days. And I added on top of that 2 chapters of the Bible and practicing for 30 minutes every single day. And that was my hard thing. And I benefited so much from that. It brought so much more value and so much more of a blessing to my life just to do that on just multiple levels. And that's kind of why I always takes a moment to, like, really stress, like, fall in love with the hard thing. They talk about, you go through life and there are 2 roads you can travel. The path with the least resistance and the path with the most resistance. And I'm not going to say, like, there is this, blanket statement where it's like, oh, always choose the harder path. Because sometimes some things are meant to be easy. You know what I mean? But if we're talking about you growing, right? You growing as a person, you evolving as an athlete, as a creative, as a musician, as just evolving as a human being. It usually, right, requires hard things. That's why they call it what? Trial by fire. We put you through the fire. We put you through this intense pressure, this intense environment to do this Herculean task. And when you're able to accomplish these tasks, you grow. And the funny thing is that even if you don't necessarily accomplish your main goal, by just simply trying to accomplish the goal, you already grow. So for example, let's say that, your goal is, okay, I'm going to work out every day for 90 days straight. Just by trying to work out for 90 days straight, let's say worst case scenario, you only worked out 60 days. That's probably more than you would have worked out if you didn't try the challenge. So there's even benefit in attempting to do the hard thing, Because what do they say? You aim for the moon. If you miss, you hit the stars. So just by attempting to do these difficult things, you will still yield progress and success. And then what you do is you adjust and you continue to grow, you continue to move forward. And that's how things come along. But again, it just goes back to ask yourself, what are some hard things that I can challenge myself to do that will lead me to the most growth? And for some people, it's, I need to get my income to $2,500 a month or $4,000 a month. All right, figure that out. And in figuring that out, maybe you don't hit $4,000 a month, but maybe you hit 2, maybe you hit 3. It's better off than when you started. And what you do is once you hit that one goal, you make adjustments and you keep pushing towards your ultimate goal. But by simply trying to increase your income, you're going to find ways and ideas. When you read Think and Grow Rich, it talks about that, how when you tell your mind to solve a problem or figure out this issue, your subconscious gets to work and starts working on that issue and trying to figure out, okay, what the solution is to what you have going on. So if you're telling yourself, I'm a millionaire, I'm wealthy, and I just need to figure out how to create more income to achieve that, or how to, grow the money that I already have, your subconscious already starts working to figure out the solution to that problem. And now when you start getting ideas, you try those ideas, you see them through, you do the hard things. And sometimes the hard things is, start up a website and do a social media campaign or a marketing campaign. And these are things you're very uncomfortable with. But if you want to find success, it requires your evolution. And another part to this, right, is considering what motivates you. Because the second part to this whole concept of doing hard things is understanding, okay, what motivates the people who do hard things to even do them in the first place? Like, what makes a Steph Curry, even now after all of his success and all of his accomplishments, he continues to go to the gym and work hard and work as if he's the worst guy in the league? What pushes a Kobe Bryant to continue to work and be the hardest working man in the room when he's probably in his last year of the league and he's about to retire? What pushes a millionaire to continue to strive more and more to become a billionaire? And I'm not going to say these are the only 2 reasons, but it's kind of been like 2 of the strongest reasons for sure. And it's these 2 words right here. Your major motivators in life are going to be desperation and obsession. And so desperation is when you literally have no choice, where in reality, it's almost like the decision is taken from you. And sometimes I guess you still can have somewhat of a decision, but the results of not coming through will be so disastrous that you are making sure you absolutely do whatever you can in your power to accomplish whatever this goal is. That's what desperation is. So as an example for desperation would be a single mother who has 2 kids, just lost her job, can't make any money. She's trying left and right. She needs to find a way to provide for her kids, to provide food, to provide shelter. She just has to. To not find a way is not an option. And so maybe she does OnlyFans. And now because she's doing OnlyFans, she's making a couple $1,000s a month. And is it maybe something she's 100% comfortable with? Maybe she's not. But she's operating in desperation. And so because she's operating in desperation, she will do whatever it takes to accomplish the goal. That's what desperation is. You will do whatever you have to do to accomplish the goal. And now the other side of it is obsession. And so obsession is when you get like an athlete like Kobe Bryant, who was so obsessed with being the best, who was so obsessed with being one of the greatest, that's what pushed him to continue to work every single day as if he was one of the worst. Even when he was at the top of his game. I remember, I'll never forget that. I think it was the year they won a championship. And then that same summer, a couple weeks later, he's meeting up with Akeem Olajuwon to better his footwork and his post game. And that's not out of desperation. You just win a chip. If you don't do this, you're still in the league. You still have a job. You still have your accolades. You still have accomplished so much. It's not the end of the world if you don't grow your game in this aspect. but because he was driven by obsession. He was so obsessed to be the best player that he could possibly be, to maximize his potential. He was so obsessed with giving the game every single thing that he had, that now when everybody else would coast and get comfortable and feel like, okay, it's time to take time off, that's when he was adding yet another facet to his game, another facet to his skill set. And that is obsession. And so in this moment right now, you got to sit there and ask yourself, okay, what is pushing me? Is it desperation? Am I in a situation that is so bad or so uncomfortable that I will do whatever it takes to get out of it, that I am desperate to fix this? I will talk to whoever I need to talk to, or deal with whoever I need to deal with, or say what I need to say, or do whatever it is that I have to do in order to get out of the situation. Are you operating in desperation? Or are you operating in obsession, where it's like, yo, I want to be a millionaire so bad, I'll do what it takes, even if I have to grow my millions 10% at a time. I'm okay with it taking me a year or two. Like, I'm not desperate to become a millionaire, right? But I'm committed to it. I'm committed to the process. I'm obsessed with it, you could say. Not me personally, but a person striving for that, the obsession of becoming a millionaire, of becoming financially free, of being able to provide for you and your family in a way that, will cover them from years to years. Okay, that commitment, that obsession, okay, drives them. And so now when they reach these moments where there's obstacles in the journey, which there always are, whether it be driven by desperation or driven by obsession, they're going to still break through because they have a leading factor. So what you have to ask yourself is, what is pushing you? Because another thing can be true too, that you have neither desperation nor do you have obsession. And so you don't have obsession because you never committed to something, and you never committed to being great at it or even good at it. So there was no obsession in the first place because you were very comfortable with where you are in life and the level in which your gifts and your crafts were at. You weren't obsessed with being, the best pianist or the best rapper or the best, architect or the best animator or even the best singer. You just sang, but when I tell you that the only way you're going to get out of your situation, the only way that you'll be able to take your family out of the hood or turn things around, is that, you have to become this type of touring Grammy nominated singer. And that's the only way, you'll be able to provide for your family. Or, let's say you have a family member who is gravely sick and can't afford the bills. And like, okay, with this gift of performing and singing, like if I take it seriously, I'll be able to take care of my family, my friends, and the people who are, the desperation can drive you. The commitment can drive you. The desperation can drive you, and the obsession can drive you. It's just a matter of which will drive which. But the most dangerous place to be in is just to be so complacent. You're in a position where you're nowhere near where you need to be in life, but because you're comfortable where you are, because where you are provides you a certain escape and a certain disillusion from reality, you don't have desperation, even when you probably should be. You should be desperate. You should be in a position where you're saying to yourself, no matter what, I have to fix this situation. But because you're in an environment where you're so comfortable and nothing is challenging you or pushing you or holding you accountable, you don't have desperation. And you don't have obsession, because if you had obsession, you'd already be working. You wouldn't even need other reasons. You'd be already working, already growing, and being better. And so another thing to consider is that when you sit there and you live such a comfortable life, a life with no challenge, a life with no pressure, a life with no consequences if you don't come through, that hurts you because there's no motivator for your growth. You just mosey along each day and just live life willy-nilly, and whatever happens, happens, because there's nothing driving you. You're not driven by desperation, and you're not even driven by obsession. You just wake up and go to sleep and just live basic life. And so you have to really ask yourself, what is going to be my drive? What is going to be the heart of what pushes me? Is it going to be desperation? Am I going to do things because I'm desperate? Or am I going to do things because I'm committed to it? I'm obsessed. And again, these are not the only motivators, but I feel like these are some of the most strongest ones. Desperation really pushes people to do things they would never, ever, ever do. And obsession pushes people to commit to a process that nobody else would ever commit to, but because they are so committed and so obsessed with being the best, yeah, they'll do it. They'll do what no one else is willing to do. And you see that with a lot of the top success stories, whether it may be, sports or business. It's people who are obsessed with a goal and they did whatever they had to do to accomplish that goal. And so my challenge to you is to reevaluate yourself. Are you living in a world where you're too comfortable, where everything is just too easy? Are you living in a world where you're not desperate for anything, but you also have no obsession to anything? You don't have anything that's driving you? Because if you don't have anything that's driving you, you will go nowhere. No pun intended, but that's just it. Something has to push you. I remember hearing a story about these guys who, they run an entertainment social media platform, and they literally would buy houses that they were like, was just a little bit more above their means. But that created a drive. It created a sense of desperation where it's like, we have to do this and it has to be good or we won't have a place to stay. That's a way of manufacturing desperation to be a drive. Obsession is not usually something you have to manufacture because you're just so committed to the idea at reaching the top level of whatever it is that you're obsessed about. So it just comes and you just follow the call. And so that's my challenge for you guys today. It's like, find out what's driving you. And if you have nothing driving you, create something or find it. Find what's going to push you. Find what's going to drive you. Find what's going to make you commit to a 90-day commitment process of being intentional with what you do and building better habits and find what will drive you. Don't if you have to manufacture your own desperation, do so. But you gotta have the drive. You gotta have the thing that's pushing you to be better. It's so essential for the things that you want to accomplish in life. It's your obsession. It's your desperation that will help you accomplish the hard things. And like I told you before, the hard things is what brings it all together. So you know what, man? I don't want to be long-winded. You know what I mean? I'm going to leave you guys with this again, man. Find what drives you, whether it may be obsession, whether it may be desperation. And then use that drive, use that motivation to do hard things, to accomplish difficult things. Push yourself to be more than what you are right now. And you push yourself by doing things that are above what your capabilities. But that's what's going to force you to grow. It's going to force you to level up. And that's what you need. So I love you guys. And if you aren't already, man, make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. More to come. Love you guys. It's been a dope episode of Self Speaks. Peace out.